YouTube? How you feeling, hey little ones? Good, it's your girl Francine. Today is Tuesday, and I don't have a thing for Tuesday, so it's just Tuesday. Today, I'm doing one of my first new kind of things. Today, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do a story time, but it is related to this channel. So you know the name of my channel is Awkward Black Attorney, and you know I come off kind of awkward sometimes, very, very apparent, and I'm obviously black, but a lot of times people get surprised to find out that I'm an attorney. Not just because of stereotypical reasons, but because my personality, sometimes people think that, really? You're an attorney? Because I think that they're supposed to be so put together and not crazy. And trust me, I went to law school with a lot of people who were worse than me. So take that as you will. But yeah, I've been an attorney for 3 years. I just, like, before I made this video, I was like, how long have I been barred? Since July of 2017, y'all. It's been 3 years. And I'm going to tell you the story of how I decided to be an attorney and kind of the path that I took to get here. Because I think if you're like me and your story's like mine, which I didn't really see a lot of people like me when I was in law school, then this may be for you. Because, spoiler alert, I did not always want to be an attorney. And honestly, up until I went to law school, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to be an attorney. And even at some point in law school, I wasn't really sure I wanted to be an attorney. But now, here I am. So let's get into it. So I just realized after saying that it makes it seem like I don't like what I do. When I do, I love what I do. And that is why I wanted to tell a story, because I think for some people, they may have the same story or the same kind of similar situation, maybe in a different profession as me. And I think I tend to see the bright side of things now. Back then, not so much. And we can get into that too. So let's start back into time. Childhood Francine, she wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a singer, I wanted to be an actress, I wanted to be in entertainment, and I wanted to be famous. And that was always what I wanted to be, because I was a very annoying, in-your-face extrovert at one point. Like, I loved talking to people and like being around people and being like, oh my god, like being very sociable and everything. And as I got older, that kind of diminished because there's this thing called bullying, and it killed your self-esteem. But I still really wanted to be a singer, and I still to this day, I mean, it'd be great. I mean, if it happens. But, you know, it was something that I was really passionate about. And so when I went to high school, I wanted to go to performing arts high school. I already knew what high school I wanted to go to, and I got accepted to this high school. But I was told I couldn't go because my parents wanted me to focus more on education and not on singing. So I went to school, went to another high school, and then I went to college, and I wanted to go to the performing arts college. I was like, I wanted to go to Philadelphia School of Art, and I was told I couldn't do that. And this is not to bash my parents. I need to say this because they watch my videos, and I know they're gonna be like, oh, you're just sitting here bashing us, making it seem like it's our fault. I mean, I get it now, but at the time I kind of thought it was. But of course, you know, your parents, you want to raise your child to get an education and to get something that is sustainable, because the thing about music and the thing about acting and the thing about any performing arts job, it is not promised. It's the most fickle profession that there is. You could be, I could have made like an album that was like top the charts and then never, ever made another song again. There's plenty of behind the musics that you see of people who were really big at one point and now they're broke. So I get it now as an adult. So my parents wanted me to go to college. They wanted me to get an education. So I was like, fine. I went to college. I was undecided in the first couple years, and I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. First, I started off saying, okay, politics. I like politics. Maybe I can get into political science. And so I started doing political science, and I realized very quickly that it was not for me. And you know, I could have done some behind the scenes stuff in politics, and I still think about possibly that could be something I do. But once I realized I didn't want to be a politician, I was like, well, maybe I could report on the news, which now I'm doing it without a degree. But I started doing journalism classes. And to be quite honest, the only reason why journalism didn't work is because I was lazy in college. Especially in the first couple years, I was kind of lazy. I was one of those people who was kind of sheltered. My parents were gonna say I wasn't, but I kind of was. And when you go to college and you're kind of sheltered, you do stupid things, and that was me for a minute. And then eventually I decided on psychology and sociology. And that fits because I love understanding things and I love analyzing things because it's the Virgo spirit in me. I love understanding why people are the way they are. I like understanding how people work, and that's the sociology thing of like how society works and how society is the way it is. And in doing sociology, one of my classes I got was sociology and law. And so I decided, you know what? Law is interesting. I know I don't really want to be a psychiatrist, even though I love studying it. I didn't really want to be it. I had taken some shadowing classes behind a actual therapist at this school, and I realized that I am way too empathic to be a psychiatrist or a therapist because I take on other people's problems, and then I get obsessed with their problems, and then their problems make me upset. So, you know, I figured that was probably good for me, and I didn't want to be a psychiatrist because I don't feel comfortable giving people medications, and that's whole nother thing. So I was like, the heck am I gonna do with this degree? Like, I just spent 4 years and I don't know what I'm gonna do with this degree. And so I was like, well, law is interesting. I liked my sociology law class. I actually interned for the Attorney General's office while I was in school. And I was like, I actually enjoy doing this. It was very helpful to help clients get what they needed. And I was doing consumer protection, so helping people with consumer issues and calling the companies and then the companies and having negotiations and mediation. And that was when I was in college. So I was like, if I took a little bit more training, went to school, I could be perfect at this. So I said, okay, I'll take the LSAT, see what my score is. I might go. And my score wasn't actually that bad. And so it was like, wait, I was really just assuming that I was just doing it to see how it goes, but I actually did pretty well. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it again. Maybe I can get an even higher score, get into a better place. And my score was a little bit better, but it wasn't too much better. Like, it was a bit above average score. Like, it wasn't like I was average, but I wasn't a freaking genius. And so I was like, I don't really know. Like, I'm still not sure. Maybe I should take a year off. And this is when I will say, I would recommend taking a year off now that I didn't do it. And I say that because when I went to law school, I had no idea what I really wanted to do. If you're like me, and this is why I said this is a video for somebody like me, even though I ended up loving what I wanted to do, what I'm doing now. But if you're a person who's like, I don't really know if I want to do this, or I'm not really sure what I want to do even after 4 years of college, maybe take a year off, try to find a job, try to support yourself, maybe get some money so that you won't have to get as many loans if you do go back to grad school. Just like take the time off to figure yourself out, because though I love what I do now, if I were to take a year off, I would have had a whole lot more structured idea of what I actually wanted to do instead of just like kind of sort of trying to figure it out afterwards. So that's just my recommendation. If you are a person who's just gung-ho, I know what I want to do, I know what I want to be when I grow up immediately, good for you. That was not my story. But instead of taking a year off, I immediately started applying to law schools, kind of sort of because I had to, and that's a whole other thing. And again, your life is yours is something else I need to say. And if you want to make the decisions for your life, you have to take the consequences of what happens if you make the decision for your life. So just keep that in mind as well. But yeah, I decided to apply to law schools, and I got into a lot of them that I applied to. I applied to like high tier schools, low tier schools, and like middle schools. And I got some scholarships, and I was like, oh crap, okay, maybe I don't need to take a year off. Maybe I will have some money. So I got accepted to some colleges in New York. I got accepted to some colleges in Florida. And then I got accepted to the funny thing is, this is the last acceptance I got. I got accepted to Loyola University, New Orleans. And it was intriguing because A, they gave me a scholarship that was very, very hefty scholarship. B, it's in New Orleans, and as soon as you hear New Orleans, you think Mardi Gras, you think fun, you think, woo, like, you know, it's gonna be a fun time. I get to get far, far away from home, because that was one of the things that I wanted to do, was get far away from home. And I got to be in a place where I could have some fun and meet some people and do some crazy things, and that I did. Sometimes not the best way, but that I did do. And so I was like, well, you know, New Orleans seems fun. Yeah, Florida could be fun, but also Florida is crazy. And New York is close to home, and New York is also really expensive. And then I got accepted to a school in North Carolina, but I was like, I don't really know how fun North Carolina is. Like, I wanted to have a good time. Like, I wanted to enjoy myself where I went. So I was like, forget it. I'm gonna go to New Orleans and, find it. Like, I wanted to start myself over, recreate myself. I was far away from home. And I guess that's what I did. Made a whole story about my mental health journey, and that is a big portion of it. But when I went to New Orleans, what I did not know was that it is a huge social justice school. It's really big on social justice. It's really big on helping community, nonprofits. They had a lot of opportunities for pro bono work, and I actually got credit for doing pro bono work. And so I was really happy that I went there, because honestly, if I would have probably went to any other school, that wasn't really big on social justice, I'd probably still be a little lost right now. Because once I started understanding how the law can help people and see, the thing about law school for me, because I didn't actually go into it immediately saying I wanted to be a lawyer, what I pretty much learned was how the system works. And then my passion came from, this is effed up. We need to do something about this. And that is what made me want to be a lawyer. And I think that journey may not be very common, but it was what worked for me. Because honestly, I had no idea about a lot of the issues with the prison system. I had no ideas about, things like the Innocence Project and how many people get put on death row that are innocent. I had no idea about how the law works and incorporates itself into poverty, into healthcare, I was so naive. Like, when I remember, and I think I told the story before, when my first year of law school, I worked for the DA's office, and I was just like, this whole system is like screwed. Like, why is it like this? Why are you trying so hard to put people in jail? Like, why is this how the system works? And I think because I got into that type of school that shows you that type of reality, it completely changed my whole perspective of the world. And in changing my perspective of the world, it changed my perspective of what I wanted to do, because I was like, nah, like, we need to do something about this, and I want to be a part of it. And that is what essentially made me want to be a lawyer. It took me going to actual law school, but I did find that passion, and I'm happy I did, because I could have literally just been living my life, normal job. Maybe I did become a therapist or a psychiatrist, or, who knows what I could have became if I took a year off. Maybe I could have became a big singer, and I could have had this whole, but like, that passion that I have now and that understanding and knowledge that I have now, I probably would have never gotten if I didn't go to law school. And that is why I think I made this video. That is why I made this video, because I think a lot of times, sometimes we get into a place where we don't really know what we want to do. We don't really know what perspective we want. And I always have the notion that everything happens for a reason. Now, granted, I didn't have to spend over 6 figures of debt in order to find out my purpose. It could have happened some other way, but it happens that way. I'm paying these student loans off for the rest of my life. We're here. It's fine. But I think, even if it's something that, not law, but something that you just want to explore different things and understand different parts of the world or different aspects of how our country works, because trust me, there's plenty of other places you can do a lot of work to help people if that's what your passion is. If your passion isn't to help people, maybe you have no problem with helping people, but that's not your passion. You can find what your passion is, because quite honestly, until I went to law school, I had no idea outside of, like, I want to be a singer. That's it. Like, I want to be a singer and I want to be an actress. And the crazy thing is, in that time period of me not doing it, I didn't, me being in school, I didn't do anything with that. And so, yeah, it was a passion of mine, and it's something I'm doing now. But this was something that, held on to me and was like, no, you have to do something. And it was that much of a passion to me. And that's why I don't regret it. But maybe you could have done it in a less expensive way. But that is the story of how I became a lawyer, why I decided I wanted to be a lawyer. And actually, I'll give you another example. Because this is something they don't tell you when you go to law school. You leave law school. I graduated law school, graduated in 3 years. I had some struggles, my God. But I graduated and I took the bar. And I don't have to reveal this, but I am going to, because I think it's important. I didn't pass the bar the first time I took the bar. And I still was in a little skeptical idea of, I guess, imposter syndrome I was having of, I don't really think I am a lawyer. I don't think that I have what it takes to be a lawyer. And you know what? Maybe it's not my purpose. Maybe it's not what I want to do. And then I failed the bar, and I was angry because I was like, no, actually I am. Actually, I put all the blood, sweat, and tears into getting a law degree, studied literally for 3 months straight to get this damn bar, and I failed? How? And I really thought that, like, if I failed, I was told myself after I took the test, I said, if I failed, I'm not doing it again because I don't really care. And that was what that's how I knew it was a passion, because I was like, no, F this, I'm taking this again, because no, it's not gonna happen. And that in and of itself is just like a proof that, like, yeah, this may not have been my quintessential, when I grow up, I want to be a lawyer mentality, but I was passionate about what I wanted to do, and I knew doing that meant me having to do some things, like pass the bar and, you know, get in certain circles and do certain things. And so, yeah, I mean, it takes some time to kind of figure out for some people. And for me, it took a lot of time, but I'm happy I figured it out, because now I do feel like I have somewhat of a purpose and an understanding of where my life wants. I want my life to go. I want to help people. I want to do it in a sense of law. I want to do it in a sense of education. That's why I started this channel and doing what I do. And, you know, like I said before, I may not be the best and I may not always be right, but I'm trying. And that is something that I've learned is more important than anything. Like, I could literally just be, because at one point I was just like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna just live this life that I'm not really happy with, and I'm gonna be upset and angry at the world, but oh well, like, this is the life that I'm given. But now I'm in a place where I may not be the best, but I'm trying, and I'm gonna try every single day to get to where I want to be, and that includes being a lawyer. And so I'm very happy that this is a decision I made. Took some time to get here with that mentality, but I'm happy now. So with that being said, you know, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, put them in the comment section. If you, like me, had a problem, or not a problem, but like a journey getting to where you actually want to be, finding your purpose, finding out what you want, and actually embracing it, put that in the comments too. I think that's something that we don't really talk about, because anytime that I went to law school and they were like, oh, what made you want to be a lawyer? Everybody was like, oh, I always knew I wanted to be a lawyer. It was such a passion. Or like their dad was a lawyer, or their cousin was a lawyer, or they wanted to be a lawyer because they saw all the misfortune of the world around them and they wanted to change it. Like, unfortunately, I didn't have that immediately snap in my brain and be like, this is what I want to do. But it happened eventually. So if you've had the same eureka moments in your life, let me know in the comments. And if you ain't subscribed, I mean, go right on ahead. Subscribe to the channel. It's not hard. It just takes pushing a button. That being said, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow's video is similar to this video. It's probably me talking. I think I have like 3 different ideas for videos that I don't know how I'm gonna arrange them. So we're gonna figure that out today. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.